Well, hello, friends, and welcome to Season 2.5 of the Going Deeper podcast. My name is Nate Johnson. I'm the Associate Pastor here at Passion Church, and our desire with this podcast is to inspire believers to pursue a deeper walk with God and be vessels for revival in every sphere of life. Joining us on this mini-season, we'll have a few guests that went through our discipleship class this past fall. In these episodes, they're going to share about their experiences going through the class and encouraging people to go deeper here at Passion Church. My hope through this season is all the watchers and listeners would be moved further along in their own discipleship walk. If you have any questions about our discipleship program at Passion Church, you can reach out. So enjoy today's episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Going Deeper podcast. It's the Associate Pastor here, Nate Johnson, and we're here with our final episode of our mini season. I hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes with myself and our special guests. We are going to be back soon with Pastor Nate and Scott Schaefer as well, and a whole host of guests. We're very excited for what's to come. But today we're just continuing our conversation on our discipleship class we had this past fall, Practicing the Way. And so I have here with me a guy that's become a good friend of mine, one that I love to joke with. And I'm just grateful. He and I love kind of sharing our stories of youth ministry. So I would love to introduce to the podcast world, to the Going Deeper podcast world, Jacob Cain.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jacob Cain. I'm the youth director here at Passion Church.
So Jacob, how did you, just real quick for everyone that's maybe gotten to know you, they've seen you from afar, how did you end up here at Passion Church?
Long story short, I had moved to Iowa. I'm originally an Illinois guy. And then
It's
moved.
Okay that you moved away.
Yes. I moved from Illinois. The Lord blessed it. And the Lord brought me to Iowa. And then the Lord removed me from some situations and things I had going on in my life. And the Lord used my best friend who was living in the area and brought me to Passion. And the Lord brought some healing and deliverance in my life. And now I'm here and I love it here.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, so we've gotten to joke because I used to do youth ministry. That was my former position at my last church, was doing youth ministry. We always joke about just silly stuff, and we've had some good conversations. But when we were getting ready to launch the class, I know I approached you, said, Jacob, I think this would be really great for you. But you kind of shared just right now, like kind of what your life was before you came. But was it just the ask, or what kind of piqued your interest in taking this discipleship class?
So, believe it or not, I actually had a friend of mine who was actually going through the class before and brought up the book, that they had gone through the book. And I was like, this is too crazy that Nate would be asking me to join the class. I had never heard of the class or anything of the book before this friend had brought it up to me. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just see what this is all about. And the ask was basically why I came in, and it was just such a blessing.
Oh, that's good. I know, I think it might have been Dan Barry or somebody from the church. They said their reason for signing up for the class was, Nate, you just seem so excited about it. And I was glad that you joined in. You know, we kind of made up the younger contingent in our class, even though I was the teacher. You know, we had a great mix of generations in the class. And so I'm glad that you were able to be a part of it. So I would say kind of my first real question for you, Jacob, is, was there anything from this class that kind of felt, awkward or maybe challenging, that you're like, wow, this isn't something that I normally do in my life, and now this is kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone? Was there anything, any of the practices, any of the challenges, anything that maybe made you feel uncomfortable? Was there anything that kind of just said, Jacob, the person you are right now, let's push you a little bit further? Was there anything that challenged you?
Yeah, there were two things that challenged me. It was Sabbath, which I am a person who loves to go. And I often find myself in a repeating cycle of I'm going and then I get burnt out, going to get burnt out. So for me to actually plan out something and follow through with it in terms of resting and doing a Sabbath was like, no, I don't like this. This is everything against
Yep.
who I am as somebody who loves to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
And then the second one was confession.
Yep.
I feel, and I think you can attest to this as well, is that as the Big C church, we do a very terrible job about confessing to one another.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to let go of some pride in the midst of my confession to one of my very good friends. And it was really a humbling moment, but it just brought so much relief to my life of like, okay, these are some things that I had to like kind of spend time with the Lord first, repent,
Yep.
and then come to a place where I was like, hey, I've been struggling with this and I've repented. And now I want to bring this out into the light so that I can walk in the true freedom that God has for me.
Yeah, I know. I was sharing with Gerard a couple of weeks ago, just in his episode, just on the beauty of the group that we had, being able to be open and honest, just be real. And I know we got to the week of confession, and that our challenge was, hey, you got to go confess to somebody. And, previous weeks, people were like, I'm excited to take on this challenge. And then it's confession. It's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. And so it was, I'm sitting there as the teacher, like, ha 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 ha. I'm not the one that planned all this. It was because of the class. But I'm glad that you took those on. I mean, that's part of, if we're not willing to change, we're not going to see growth. We're just going to see stagnation in our lives. And so even if it's something like Sabbath and just taking time to have that day of rest. And as a young single guy, like for you, it's like, oh my goodness, like just the idea of, I have to stop, but if I stop, like, what am I going to be doing? And so I know you shared that with me after that week. Like, Nate, Sabbathing was really hard. But it's something that now that you've done it, and it's something that you pick up. You don't just pick it up and try it out once and say, it's not broccoli. It's like, I don't think that's for me. It's, wow. Were you able to see the benefits from just having that time of slowing down?
Yeah, I've actually made this a practice in my life.
That's awesome.
Almost weekly, I try to at my best because sometimes my schedule allows it, sometimes it doesn't. But
Yeah.
even in the times my schedule doesn't allow a true Sabbath, like I'm very much practicing of like, okay, I'm going to take X amount of hours, let's say on a Friday, and I'm going to take that time and just have it for myself, be able to rest, be able to do what I need to recharge, and not, one of the things that I really learned through Sabbathing was to do things that I enjoy and don't let the comparison steal my joy of my Sabbath.
Wow. Well, there's your soundbite right there. Jeez, Jacob, that was good. That answered my next question. I didn't even have to get to it. Just this, what has changed in you, and so I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by that, and like it's Sabbathing has been something my wife and I, like, we've tried to be good about, and I the class is called Practicing the Way. And I know I probably a broken record statement from myself and from the people that put on the program, Practicing the Way, is that it's not doing the way. It's not succeeding the way. It's practicing. And the thing is practice, the only time we're going to reach perfection is when we're in heaven. And so we aren't practicing until we're perfect. We're practicing until he perfects us. And that's going to be us in glory. It's not going to be us here on earth. And so I'm encouraged. I myself am challenged. Like, man, hearing that, I'm like, I need to go tell my wife, like, hey, Jacob Cain's doing it. We need to get back into just the Sabbathing mindset. And I think, and that's just one of the 9 practices. There were several others. And, that's something that I know I keep coming back to, like, man, I need to be working on this area. And it's like you said, it's never about comparison. It's never about, boy, I'm just not doing a good job in this area. No, that's the Spirit's prompting on, pursue this, pursue me. So that's really good. All right. Well, like I said, you answered my last question, so now I got to leap ahead. Okay. So, Jacob, can you, kind of looking back over the 8 weeks that we, well, 7, 8 weeks that we met, can you look back and say, what's a specific moment where you noticed real change in your daily life?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know if there's a time that I can pinpoint. Maybe not through the class, but like after the class is when I started to notice it, just feeling the effects, because it took a little bit of me to just do the practicing and to make it a habit, to
Yep.
make it something that I'm continually doing, and just not like I'm going to try this once and it's broccoli. And I'm like, not so much. But making it something that I'm just going to continually to just feed into me just little by little, kind of like just giving a baby some food.
Yep.
And so that's very much where it came to me, is just little by little is how I began to see the growth of like, wow, before this class, I wasn't Sabbathing at all. I wasn't practicing confession. But now over time, it just became easier and easier and easier to do it.
What would you say for you specifically? What has changed internally? What has changed more internally than externally?
I think the thing internally that has changed is through the class, it brought up a lot of just comparison.
Mm.
I remember hearing and processing about Sabbath, and I was like, well, this is how it looks for this person, and this is how it looks for that person. And around that time, our pastor, Nate Schaefer, was speaking about messages revolving around comparison. I was like, oh, this is a real thing that is in my heart, and I need to like do some inward looking. And so that, along with some other practices that we had, just really brought that out of me. And like, I feel so much better as a person now that I'm not struggling with that comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. I shared this a couple weeks ago in Gerard's episode, but just this idea of self-awareness. We as a people can get so, our self-awareness can be more wrapped up in how we are looking at ourselves, how others look at us. And really the only person that the opinion should matter is how God looks at us. When he looks at us, and he looks at us as a child, and his child, not just a wayward, ruffian on the street, but a beloved child. And so looking inward and saying, okay, Lord, what are you calling out of me? That's where the different practices, they can show us where are areas that we need to grow. And in that, embracing those things, the broccoli, the hard stuff, whether it's Sabbath or it's generosity. For some, if they've never witnessed to someone before, that's a part of what we are called to. And it was great listening to you and just the others in the class when it came to time to kind of wrap things up. Just across the board, everyone had, maybe some had some macro changes in their life, and maybe for some it was many micro ones that when they pursue those things, they'll see like, wow, God is just really daily changing me and changing me in big ways. How has going through this class, how has it affected your relationships? How has it affected, whether it's your friends, your family, or the people you work with? Is there anything that's someone has observed in you as a change, or how has that impacted your life?
I would say people notice that I'm just more at peace and more at rest.
Yeah, that's good. Now we're at the final question. What would you say, and you get to talk to the camera again, Jacob, what would you say to someone who's considering taking this class this spring?
What I would say to you is just do it. Just join the class, just be like Nike and just do it. Okay. I'm going to get really youth pastor here. But I joke about, I just do it, but I was very hesitant to join because I'm like, I'm very protective about my time, but it was well worth my time. And, I would not have grown had I not been intentional about seeking that out. And I very much would suggest not only bring yourself, bring a friend.
That's good. All right, Jacob. Well, I really appreciate your time and kind going to throw this at you. Would you be up for praying us out as we close this episode, and just pray for the people that are thinking about taking this class here in the future?
Jesus, we thank you for just this class and how you've worked in so many people's lives throughout this class. Lord, I think about the different people that I got to know through the class, like Gerard, and just being able to hear his story. And Lord, and how it just built a greater community within our church. And so, Lord, I just pray for these people who are like debating about whether or not they're going to choose a class, Lord. Would your Holy Spirit, would he prompt them and lead them into a place where they would want to join the class, where you would work upon people's hearts, Lord. Would you prepare their hearts, Jesus, into moving them into this position where they would take a class. And so, Jesus, we trust that you would have every single person that needs to be in this class. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Jacob, for just that prayer and just coming and sharing with us. And we just want to let you all know that this is it for our mini season of Going Deeper. And we are going to be back with our next season here very shortly. We'll keep you all posted on that. But if you've been with us for these few episodes and you're really interested now in our discipleship class, we're going to be doing Practicing Away again here in the spring. And we're going to be doing future classes. We're going to be working on curriculum and all that. And that's going to be probably this fall. But if you're interested, you can reach out to me and let us know if you're interested. And we'll keep you guys posted on when the sign up is happening. But we hope you've been blessed by this season. And we'll see you guys in a few weeks.